coming and joining us for this lovely Saturday afternoon conversation celebrating Marvel's Agatha All Along. My name is Kathryn. I'm one of the senior entertainment writers over at Variety, and it is my pleasure to be up here today with this marvelous coven. So joining us first is Sasheer Zamata, followed by Locke. The great Patti LuPone. And last but certainly not least, I like to call her the insidious and perfidious one of the Agatha Harkness herself. Oh my goodness. I mean, I imagine most folks here have seen the series, yes? So you've been thinking about this for some time. You've been watching, you know, episodes like this incredible one where we are time turning and really going into what did you say? They did. They showed your episode. So Patti, yes, water up, because I am coming to you, I will say first. Because this episode is quite the challenge, obviously, for us as viewers. But I imagine it's a little different as an actor. You're not obviously traveling in time throughout. So how do you know? I actually don't know. So what was it like to play Lilia in this series and to have an episode like this one where we're getting a chance to figure out who and how she is?
Well, it was great playing Lilia because I am part Sicilian, and I've always thought that I was a witch. I have precognizance, and I think we all have something that is sort of not abnormal. I can't find the right word, but I've always wanted to check myself into the Duke Institute of Parapsychology because I wanted to really hone in on this particular thing that I have, which is precognizance. So I've always felt as though there's something about that. So, and then the scripts. And I have to say that I seem to play witches. I played Joan Clayton in Penny Dreadful. And then when Jack pitched it to me, she talked about tarot, and I had just finished Ryan Murphy's season 11, and I was a bathhouse singer with fabulous hats that ended up reading tarot cards. So it was the universe unfolding. It sort of all came together in Jack's piece.
I mean, everything does. One role begets another, and quite literally, Kathryn, I mean, this was supposed to be a one-time thing, coming in with WandaVision, playing this incredible Agatha, and now look, you have your own show. What has that been like as you've kind of continued to process this journey?
Yeah, exactly. I'm still processing it with you in real time. It was flabbergasting when I found out that this could be a possibility, and that when I knew it was Jack Schaefer and Mary Lavanos, our incredible producer, and our hair and makeup team, and our costume designer, like that they all were involved from WandaVision. They helped like set this look. I knew we were in incredibly good hands. And then once we started this beautiful, deep show, which was the hardest thing I've ever done, and also the most fulfilling. Like, it's my favorite part I've ever played. And so yeah, it kept getting like deeper and deeper, and a challenge, but also like the best kind of acting challenge, like the one that you dream about. So yeah, I'm still like really moved to even talk about it, and also to see these beautiful people. And so yeah, this is like the one that I'll remember, you know, forever.
That is the beautiful thing. You all really have become, you know, I jokingly call you a coven, but it's true. It really.
No, it really is.
Well, Joe, what has it been like joining this coven?
Amazing. I feel like I've just got loads of big sisters now. Like, I also know that like if anyone is to wrong me, these women would like.
Oh, they're going down.
Yeah, it's not good news. Very safe. I've got Patti LuPone in my corner. Yeah, I mean, this job like changed my life in so many ways. and I have learned so much from all of them. I'm still a little baby actor, so you know, getting to work with such amazing people so young is like such an honor.
Work and sing, but we will get there in a moment. Sasheer, what about for you?
Oh, I mean, I love this coven so much, and I love being able to work on a show that felt so collaborative, so feminine, so magical. Like, yeah, it's really a dream to be able to work with people who are also like nerdy about witches, nerdy about, you know, intuitiveness and like the storytelling we were doing. It just felt like truly a dream. If I could pick all the things that I love in my actual life and like put it into a job, it's this show.
What's the nerdiest thing you learned about one of your coven mates?
Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Oh my God. I was gonna say something about Deborah Jo, but I don't know if she publicly talks about it. I don't think I can say something, but Deborah Jo has a lot of...
Incredibly interesting woman.
Yes, she's such an interesting woman and has very surprising hobbies that we can't talk about. Sorry.
That's how you know y'all are really tight. Because you're like, she's not here and I'm not putting my front.
Yeah, like, I'll let her say that for herself.
I'm now kind of curious. I mean, this show has such a range of emotions. It feels like you guys were just having a blast the whole time. It's almost like, how was it to try and keep from getting the giggles when you are doing all of this practical magic?
I mean, there was plenty of that, but you know, I think we were also so deep. I mean, there's plenty of that. But like, you know, we were all on stage the whole time. There was like no trailer time, so we just kind of had a little coven on the set, or on the set, basically, where you just hear us cackling from the other side. And, but I think when we did it, like between, of course it was hilarious, but when we're like down to work, we were down to work. Also because there was a lot of physical stuff. So much physical stuff. And so each day was a challenge, like you could, like, it was like, oh, this day we're flooding a kitchen. Like it was in one day. But yeah, also everyone is funny as hell on this cast.
Can we talk about that moment between Kathryn and Sasheer and the flooding? They were told that it would be a trickle test. So what you're seeing is one take with two women that are completely freaked out that it's that flood.
Real emotion coming out.
Real emotion. There was like a wall of water
Yeah.
that busted out onto us. Yeah, that was crazy.
We were standing on the side. I think we were laughing, actually.
How did you not?
Because it was shocking, and then your expressions were priceless. It was a real moment. It wasn't a film moment. It was a real moment.
Real fear.
Yeah.
Then we got to slide down a slide down the oven. That was also pretty cool. Into a pool of water.
That's really the thing. It was all very real.
Yeah.
You know, tell me a little bit about stepping onto the road for the first time. Joe, what was it like for you when you walk onto this set and it's all there?
It was really emotional, actually. There's a great picture, I don't know if it's released, but I've got it on my phone, of me, you, and Jack giving a hug on the set. And I don't know, for me, like, this huge, expansive thing was real. The road set was as big as a football field. It was like, it was so immersive and real, and all this artistry of every single tree had been designed by a different designer, and like, so much hours of work had been put into our, like, witchy project, and that was just, yeah, it was really overwhelming in a really emotional way, getting to like be surrounded by such incredible artistry. Yeah.
Well, this actually feels like a good moment. Let's actually kind of shout out. There are some of your amazing craftspeople that are here today. So give a shout out when I mention your name. Vasilios Tanis, our makeup artist. We have Erin Free, our key makeup artist. Costume designer, Michael Stevens, composer, and Steve Wells, hair department head. I mean, truly, the best, the ones who get you feeling that you're fully fully immersed into this world, even when in this episode in particular you are the Wicked Witch of the West for real, as Agatha. What was everybody's kind of favorite of the looks, of the costuming, of these moments? Kathryn, I'll start with you.
I mean, of course, of course, I have a soft spot for the hero look from WandaVision with all of her, the hair and that costume. But I think in this one, the thing that really got me was her first look on the road. That coat, that hair, the makeup, the costuming. Just like that coat, when you would open it up, was lined with silk and like all sorts of ruins around the base, and then like crows, like just a massive swirl of a murder of crows, and nobody saw it. I mean, that's why I had to do a lot of twirl, like I had to show it off. But yeah, it was extraordinary.
Patti, what about for you?
My favorite look of everyone was the 70s look, the inner rocker. That for me was just incredible. It was incredible. And then Kathryn rocking out, totally rocking out. And it was, I mean, for me, I just turning around and looking at everybody was incredible. I mean, that was my favorite look of the episodes. That look.
I actually will ask you a follow-up because I do want to know about the falling in the Glinda the Good Witch gown, because I imagine it's already complicated doing wire work, and then you have this big ball gown as well.
If I remember correctly, I didn't fall that far. It was quite controlled. I had wires on, and I wanted to go higher and fall lower. They treated Deborah, Joe, and I as if we were the elder, which was a real pain in the ass. So you know, it was like, my favorite was that when we started shooting, and Jack kept going, Patti, do you want a chair? Patti, would you like to sit down? No, I'm fine. So, yes, he did a lot of time.
I often wanted a chair.
I don't think ask the chair over. I would have loved the chair.
Like an old lady.
I'll take it.
But did you know why they were giving me the chair? But I think that, if I remember, it was it wasn't that fast a drop. It was completely controlled, and then I guess they were shooting it. Because I don't know a lot about camera angles or anything, and I guess there were a lot of cameras. I can't remember because I was holding onto the table, and it was a slow drop, and it wasn't that far. And as I said earlier, we all wished we could have flown higher. We wish we could have flown higher.
For the three of you who haven't seen it, there is also some great broomstick flying in this too, in addition to all kinds of other, like you said, very physical stunts. Joe, what about for you? What was your favorite of the costume?
I mean, I feel like I have to say my Wiccan kit, because not everyone gets to have their own superhero costume, so that was, but also the road look. It looked so simple from the outside, but the jumper, the grey jumper I had on, has so many different runes, and there's like hidden bits of the leather from the superhero kit that like slowly would show, and then the jacket, after I get stabbed in episode 4, slowly turns red and turns into the cape of the superhero costume. Like, Daniel has so much detail in each of the costumes that the average viewer wouldn't understand it and see, but it just adds this layer of like authenticity to the work.
What is it like the first time you put on essentially a superhero suit?
Because I was so scared about taking Marvel, like, you can't take any pictures, you can't do this, for the first few weeks, and then no one gives a First time I tried on the costume, it was like my first day, and I was so nervous. I was like taking sneaky pictures, like put it in my hidden album on my phone, because I was like convinced that the Marvel security would like look in my phone. But it was a very surreal moment getting to try that on for the first time.
I remember hearing that there's like actual details that are alluding to Wiccan's parents in it too. I mean, like you said, it's incredibly intricate. Sasheer, what about for you? What was your favorite look?
I love all the looks, but I'm gonna say my favorite look is my last look, like how I look when I emerge from the road. It wasn't my favorite to wear. It was like terribly muddy, but the look of it, like Daniel could attest to this, really told a story. Like when you first see me, she's very clean, she's very prim and proper, she's a princess, and throughout the journey on the road, my dress is ripping, jewelry's coming off, my nails are breaking. Like you feel like I'm actually being stripped down to my essence, and that is what Jen wanted. She's trying to reconnect to herself, and she puts all this other stuff on to create an armor. And I feel like that last scene where you see her, even though she's like been through hell, I feel like we are finally seeing Jen, and I really love the representation of that you see with the costume.
Tell me a little bit about that, because this is, while it's very much, you know, a story about Agatha and the journey she's going on, it's also very much an origin story for a lot of different people. This is, as you basically just explained, this is Jen's rebirth. It's her unbinding herself, which is pretty powerful to watch. Go home, run home, and Disney Plus the next episode. Well, really the next two, and then cry, and it's gonna be a whole thing for you. Enjoy your weekend. But how much of that arc were you privy to, you know, from the jump, and how much, you know, did you discuss with Jack about where this character was gonna go?
I guess after I got the part, she explained what Jen's journey would be, that she has been a witch who was stripped of her powers years ago and has been on a quest to get them back, and this road is her ticket to getting them back. And so, yeah, I you know, and we all got the scripts as soon as we started. Like we had all, this is rare on a TV show to get all the scripts for the whole show and be like, oh, that's the story. So I knew what the journey would be, and I was so excited to be able to like sink my teeth into something that felt so rich and full of depth and complicated and raw, and yeah, to be able to actually go through all the emotions that Jen was feeling to get to the point where it's like, oh, she finally has it back. Like that was like such an intense moment. And I remember the shoot day, it was just the three of us in that empty room, and Kathryn was like such a giving force. And yeah, it felt very special to be able to, yeah, tap into a different part of my performance and be able to give that part of Jen. And yeah, it felt really nice.
I mean, Kathryn, you know, like I just said, this is a show about Agatha, but really is a show about everyone. What has it been like for you to watch your fellow actors, you know, have the opportunity to have this journey as well?
Oh, I mean, just to even talk about that moment, it was really difficult to give you so much energy, but also being gutted inside and so in awe of what she was doing in that moment. So that was a moment you feel like privileged to be there with. And like, you know, to see you turn into a superhero. Like, there's a really special day, I guess, in a Marvel show when you, or Marvel, anything where you get to see the birth of a superhero. And so that was Goosebump City with everybody, just seeing him put the crown on for the first time. And I definitely cried so much in this ground. But like, I definitely I was so excited for you. And we had been through a lot. Like we had our first, his final comeback was with us together, and we both had Vans on, which was the best. So I knew it. And then, I knew it.
Sign.
And then Patti, like, just to be able to watch, to be in the presence of you was stupid amazing. It was like a bucket for all of us, though. We were like, and yeah, just to be able to witness your artistry, like and also your generosity to everybody. Like, this was such an ensemble. Just really, really felt like it. There was a lot of generosity in this group of humans. And I love you.
Shall we sing about it? I'm kidding.
Should we get up and perform the witch?
I was like, would y'all do it? I mean, I feel like it's my dress. We can sing it to them. How about that? Since I did say we would get around to the singing. Tell me a little bit about, working with the Lopez's again and expanding on the true phenomenon that was the Agatha All Along song, and now having a new one that is really the lore of the entire series, and you'll see in a couple of episodes where the actual basis of the song came from. When you first read the lyrics or found out about the song, what did you think?
Well, I was like, they did it again. Like, I just knew, I trust them so, they were able to find exactly the music for WandaVision, and so I just had a feeling that they were going to be able to craft this very specific world. And you're right, the rhythms, the music is transformed in so many different ways throughout this show that all lead to, the last episode. And like where it's like as stripped down as possible. And you find out the origin. They're incredible. And it really, when I saw it, I didn't realize how much time, like how impressive it was for them to have like a new opening for every one that was the same piece of music. It was incredible. I just watched Allie claim that for herself and break that generational trauma. So pretty amazing.
Patty, what did you make of it?
Well, I was just thinking, and I wasn't privy, but did the Lopez's, and they're hit makers. We don't use that word very much anymore, but they have the golden touch. They are hit makers. And I was in awe of them and never had an opportunity to work with them until The Witch's Road. But I'm just thinking here, did they have a picture, a rendering of The Witch's Road to create that song? Or is this, I don't know, I'm just throwing the question out of there. Or was this all out of their imagination? We know that Kristen did a lot of research in the lyrics. But I'm just thinking, because I'm thinking about The Witch's Road, and going back to what Joe said, it was an emotional experience to get on that set. It was for me, the most beautiful set I've ever been on in my career. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And so to think that this may have come out of their imagination without knowing, because this song was recorded before we ever got on The Witch's Road. And so that is remarkable. And just being in a studio with us and them was just another great experience of this entire experience. Oh yeah, we're going into a recording studio in Atlanta. Clip studio with those guys that have. He's a double EGOT winner. He's a double EGOT winner. No big deal. Yeah, right.
Speaking of no big deal, Joe, going into a recording studio with Patti LuPone. How was that?
Yeah, well, Patti walked in and they were like, oh, what happened? Patti was like, she goes in the studio, belts out her top note, and they're like, so, Joe, Sasheer, your turn.
Why is this the order?
Right.
Yeah. But it was almost like it made it less nerve-wracking because you can't top that. So there's no point in trying. Yeah.
It just kind of gives you a baseline. You're like, all right, this is where it is, and I will be somewhere else.
Yeah.
I had to really get out of my head when we were recording that, because there I was like trying to belt out this rock song, knowing that Patti LuPone is standing behind me with this like a gorgeous harmony and then zills, like her little instruments that she played. But I was like, that's right, Patti LuPone is right behind me. Patti LuPone is right here. Pretty amazing.
We recorded to your track.
That's right.
And it was spectacular because you set the tone for the rest of it. Honest to God, your track and the way you sing the opening section of that, it set the tone for the rest of us to come in. Because we're all just harmonizing to you.
But then I felt like I had to scream through an already recorded track. So as you heard me, and then just like belting it out because everybody's behind me. It was hilarious over and over again.
It's great. It was great.
It feels good when Patti LuPone says that your singing was great.
Oh no, singing's fantastic.
Truly, this is a series that asks you all, as you've discussed, to kind of reach into your various bags of tricks as actors and as performers in so many different ways. I'm actually really curious, you know, is there something that you discovered about yourself, about your talent, about, you know, really what you can do? How did Agatha All Along push you? Joe, unfortunately, you made eye contact with me.
Well, in every way almost. I almost saw Agatha as my drama school. I didn't go to drama school because I was too young and got in the industry early. But I know, learning from these incredible actors is the best. It's like having a masterclass every day. Watching Patti LuPone just do her thing in the most subtle and gorgeous way, and then Kathryn has this way of using her eyes that I've never seen in anyone else, and she tells so much within just eye glances and subtlety that I just stole all of it.
Well done.
Yeah.
I mean, Tina and Agatha do have that mentor-mentee relationship, so you were supposed to be learning.
Exactly.
And also, yeah, very maternal I felt towards you as well.
What was that like to explore that relationship between Tina and Agatha?
Well, I immediately fell in love, and I immediately was in awe of his centeredness and his talent, and his wise beyond his years, and his he's such an he's incredible, and I think that his your confidence and your steadiness. And so I felt like as an acting partner to go through all of that, and have the kind of dynamic switch and the status switch, and it was a pleasure to get to know that there was a big scene with us coming up. And I learned so much from you. And also I just was just so easy. We didn't have to really talk about it. It was just there.
Wow.
That's really what this is about. It's just got you all feeling, it's like saying nice things
Compliment
to
each other.
Exactly. You don't get a chance
All
to.
that any press we've done for this whole thing has just been all just complimenting each other. It's really lovely.
Yeah. Sasheer, something that stands out in this episode also is that relationship between Lilia and Jen. What was that like for you two to get to explore?
I couldn't wait. When we read all the episodes, episode 7 is my favorite, and then I was like, Patty Day! I just get to work with Patty. We were in the trenches, we were in the mud, we were in these tunnels, we were crawling through things. It was so fun, and yeah, I also feel like that helped inform some of Jen's development, because I was seeing Lilia really tap into her power and really take ownership of it, and I felt so removed from it for so long, being able to actually finally see someone oh, you recognize what you've had this whole time, and you're actually getting seeing the fruits of your labor. And I do feel like that helped inspire Jen to kind of actually dive into the coven, because she's been skeptical this whole time. She's been begrudgingly going on this journey, but I think she was oh wait, I actually do belong here, and I am going to get something out of it. If you can get something out of this, I can too. And yeah, I feel like that was such a critical moment for the coven in general, but also Jen's character being able to actually connect with somebody, and also just being able to play with Patty was the best.
Ditto, doll. Back at you. No, there was, because you don't get this all the time. You hope that you're going to have people that are actors, so that when you meet them for the first time, you're meeting the human being, and then you're meeting the actor. And then you don't get that. You generally meet the actor. I don't want to say generally. Sometimes you meet the actor, and you never get to meet the person. And this particular experience, I could cry. We met each other on common ground, and we respected and loved and supported each other. So that was the acting element of it was easy. That was secondary to the connection, the human connection, which was primary, which I think makes the difference on screen. I think I could be nuts. But I remember I said this to you. All I had to do was look in your eyes. It's the same thing that you had with Kathryn, and because each one of us had intimate scenes with other characters. And I said that to you, I said, just looking into your eyes gave me the information that I needed. And you know, you say tricks. I don't think any of us, because we all do have a bag of tricks for sure, to pull out, to maybe in some way cover up a bad script. What else can I say? No bag of tricks on the show. No bag of tricks on the show because it wasn't necessary. What was necessary was honoring Jack's language that gave us all the information we needed to be true to each other and to be true to the story. I mean, and I think we've all realized that very early on, that we had a responsibility to her language, to her idea, to her concept. And she was so generous with us as actors. She gave us respect, and that's not always the case. You know, she directed us, not just the camera. And that is a rare experience in television or in film. And I think it enabled us and to do the best we could. Do you know what I mean? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. It was like, yeah. It was a responsibility we embraced for ourselves, for her, and ultimately for the audience. Ultimately for the audience, because that's what we're doing it for.
Another shout out to Jack Schaefer, who I know you all heard from earlier, and just a reminder that she did direct this incredible episode, in addition to just, you know, being the head witch of all of this. Kathryn, I will come to you, I guess, as we close out, because as we said at the beginning, this was a Marvel journey that you weren't expecting to go this direction. Maybe even just as a piece of advice to Joe here, who's for sure continuing on, and we think we will potentially, hopefully, see more of you too. You know, what do you hope that this show, this experience kind of sets up for the future?
First of all, I don't think he needs any advice from me. I'm going to ask him for some advice, I'm sure, but I know what I learned, or what bar was set with this, was exactly what you were saying about working with human beings and not actors, and knowing that this was such a high bar, and really excited to find something that feels like this, but this was like once in a lifetime. And but and I also think for like a covenless witch as Agatha, I couldn't help myself. Like, you just fall into this group of people, and it allows you to be not only funnier but also much more vulnerable. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm forever grateful for Agatha and this group, this journey that we went on together. We would always call it the trials and the trials, because we always had our own trials alongside. And yeah, forever grateful.
I'm so nosy. I want to know what all of those trials are, but good ones.
But we were also on the road as well. None of us were home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that also, that's another way that you bond with people, because we would have dinners, we would have movie showings, we'd have pool parties. We lived a life as human beings together, but because we were away from home.
Well, thank you for coming into our homes week after week. Thank you all for joining us.